Please.
I wanted to ask you about the conflict between a lot of Muslims about the point of the Messiah, the promised Messiah, where a lot of other Muslims believe that a lot of revelations will occur before the Messiah, like, for example, the Antichrist, or the monster. There would be a monster or Antichrist, as Christians believe, and the plague, and many other things. But surely these things I
already answered your question with reference to the importance of rationality. Any belief based on an interpretation of the Quran or the traditions or hadiths of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, has to be tested on the touchstone of rationality. If these interpretations are not divinely based, then because the literal impression you receive is quite contrary to the wisdom of God, then you cannot attribute them to the Quran or to the Hadith. For instance, these Orthodox Muslims still believe that Jesus bodily ascended to heaven, and he's still on the way to that mid part of the heaven where he is ultimately required to reach before returning to earth. Now they believe it without questioning this. There are so many things which can be said, but I'm just talking about rationality now.
Okay.
Any sane man can see that nothing can travel faster than light. And whenever you think of anything traveling faster than light, that moment you lose touch with the scientific philosophy of things, on which all the great scientists of the world are agreed. There is not the slightest difference. If anything reaches the speed of light, it is flattened into nothingness and is totally destroyed. So the maximum that matter can travel is at the speed of light. For the spirit, it is a different principle. The scientists are not concerned with that. Spirit can travel at any rate, at any speed. Because it is not matter, so material laws do not apply. But they say Jesus ascended with his body, not in spirit. That is all the debate about. We say he died here, his spirit traveled to God. And they say no, he never died, his body traveled to not God, but to the mid-space. Because God was there where Jesus was. So you shouldn't have made any bodily movement towards God, who is spirit. So matter cannot travel towards spirit, which is everywhere. Now this is a very rational analysis of the debate. They believe that Jesus ascended bodily, and we say it is impossible for his bodily ascent because it's against the laws created by God. The laws about the speed of light, etc., were not created by you and I. They were created by God. They are eternal laws on which the entire educated community of scientists is completely at one, is in agreement with that. And they insist, no, he ascended bodily. Now, if he ascended bodily, as I have proved, the body could not travel beyond the speed of light. And the mid-heaven is situated 10 million light years away from us. 10 million light years. And the ascent of Jesus according to the Yama started only 2000 years before. A tiny spot in time. So he would be here in somewhere in the vicinity.
But
Even if he were traveling at the speed of light. So how much time he will take to reach the mid-heaven and return back to earth is 20 billion years. So would they wait that much for the revival of Islam?
But also that, what about when Mary had Jesus? That wasn't really rational in that way, because she didn't. I mean, it was just Jesus was just delivered.
You see, Jesus was delivered. It is definitely rational, because in the entire study of life we find such examples where females give birth to males without mating with any male. And where sometimes a transformation takes place, like in the honeybees. The male members of the society which are serving the honeybee, one of them is transformed in sex and is being fed on royal jelly, and suddenly you see them coming into being of another honeybee queen. So this is nature. We are not talking of a different God. We are talking of the same God who has created this nature. And naturally these things are possible, but they are not numerous. That is the only difference. Any woman could have claimed in the past that no man touched her and she gave birth to a baby. But who would believe? No one will. Because the common law is against it. Exceptions could not have been examined then scientifically. And even if it happens today, people will not take the baby to the medical court and seek a decision by them. Seldom it has happened. Once it happened in South America, but let me cut the story short. The fact is that scientifically it is proved beyond a shadow of doubt that this was possible. And the latest research of scientists is now changing the history of what they have been saying before. Now they believe that a woman could bear a child because the sperm of the child will be within her uterus, inherited from the forefathers. It could stay there, and she could have two sexes together within the uterus. And it is a law that if one sex begins to develop, the other is suppressed. So I don't say this is what happened to Mary, but I'm just suggesting that even if you're skeptic of the utmost degree, you can take into account the scientific evidence that at least this could have happened. One sex which got excited and developed must have suppressed the other sex, and then the lady became a girl. You see?
Yeah.
And that must have happened early in her life. I don't mean after reaching adulthood this happened. It might have happened early in her life that she had these two qualities. When the angel appeared to her and gave her the glad tidings of a son being born, she expressed her surprise. In fact, she said, "It's not possible." And because I am a chaste lady, that was the first part of the answer. And second, my forefathers and parents and mothers which gave birth to us have always been chaste. So it goes in our family tree that we are chaste people. So forget about any malintention if you have any. Till that time she did not know that it was an angel. he appeared like a most handsome person, and because that handsome person must have excited her somewhat, although that excitation was suppressed by her. And she said, no way can I bear a child. Then the person said, I am an angel of God. I have no malintentions. And God has sent me to tell you, as you say exactly, you remain what you are, yet a baby will be born, yet a child will be born to you. I personally believe that that moment must have created an inner excitement in her system, which may have suppressed one part and promoted the other part. So all these are scientifically explainable things. That is why we believe in them. We never separate the realities of universe from the Word of God. One is the Word of God, the other is the work of God. And it is impossible to find any inconsistency between the Word of God and the work of God. Right?
Okay.